a few seconds. I am streaming on multiple platforms, so I do want to make sure everything is set up. Okay. Perfect. All right. Welcome, everyone. This is Melo Madness Sports Podcast, episode 2. For those of you who didn't join us yesterday, there's no one here right now. But yesterday I dropped my first episode. So we're in episode 2, and this is actually part 2 of the Sweet 16 preview. For those who don't know me, my name is Melo. Obviously, Melo Madness is a sports podcast. Pretty much any news, analysis, discussions. Definitely have some guests on for debate. So anything sports related. So whether you're, big diehard fan or just someone that just likes to watch sports, I got you covered. So definitely get some insight, some commentary. Like I said, a few guests here and there. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. So like I said, excuse me, this is part 2 of me recapping March Madness so far and giving a nice little preview into the Sweet 16. As I said yesterday, the beginning of March Madness kind of left us in disarray. We had a lot of good teams kind of fall off. Couple upsets as we expect the unexpected. Most brackets are broken within the first game. As I mentioned yesterday, number 8 Mississippi State, number 9 Michigan State. Over 69% of people chose Michigan State to move on. So literal first game of that round, and from then on it was just pretty much chaos. Number 11 beat a number 6. Two number 11s actually beat a number 6, and obviously one of the biggest upsets was number 14 Oakland beating number 3 Kentucky. So pretty much chaotic road. Pretty much leads us right to where we are in the Sweet 16. Yesterday I went and covered the 4 games. There's 8 games in total. 4 games that was being covered. 2 in the East, 2 in the West. Basically covering those 2 regions of the games that we have for Sweet 16. And obviously in this episode, part 2, I'm going to be covering the other 2 regions. Pretty much making sure that we cover the North and the South, getting pretty much the other 4 games that we need going into the Sweet 16. Give some good commentary. Say what I saw from both teams, and then give my predictions going into the next round. So I figured let's get right into it. Give me a second. If you ain't gonna learn, if you don't know, I would get a little parched. And just because I love doing it. If you weren't here yesterday, I'm a Celtics fan. Bleed green till I die. Homegirl got me this nice cup. I'm probably going to spend a couple episodes showing this off. Just letting y'all know. We got some good stuff out here. Y'all see that. All right. Let's start it off. Number 11, NC State versus number 2, Marquette. Pretty much NC State came into the tournament with a plan. They got a big boy on their roster and they know how to use them. They got size, they got strength, they like to bully everyone they play. And pretty much in the first game versus Texas Tech, they actually struggled a little bit to do what they normally do. While the game ended with a 13-point win, I will say the Wolfpacks only went into the second half, ending the first half with a 4-point lead. Players like Mohamed Diarra won them this game. Obviously, you think DJ Burns, obviously he's their main guy, and obviously he did get himself going. He got 16 points, but obviously Diarra, I think he's the one who put his stamp on this game. He was such a beast. Been a rebounding beast since the conference play started going into the tournament, and he had himself a 17-12 points rebound game. Like I said, DJ Burns got himself going a little bit, 16 points. I just think Diarra had a more of a dominant performance down low. And obviously players like Ben Middlebrooks coming off the bench, giving them well-needed boost, dropping 31 points, pretty much making sure that they were able to kind of take off in that second half, great shooting in the second half, kind of take that lead and kind of extend it, and obviously in the end win the game, like I said, by 13 points. DJ Horn had himself a great shooting game as well. I think the team overall played a great game. But the face of that team, like I said, DJ Burns, kind of didn't give me what I thought he should have given me. 16 points. Are like, what do you mean? Like, he got 16. One board. One rebound the whole game. Like I said, Yara was more dominant down low, getting 12 of them. I definitely think seeing more physicality from Burns is something that we're going to have to see, that I kind of wanted to see in the next round, and obviously as the tournament move on from this team. I definitely think he has to show us a little more offensively, because defensively sometimes he does get a little bit lost in the sauce with his size and his slowness. So definitely something I was thinking about going into the next game or into the next round. So going into the next round, end up facing Oakland, obviously red hot shooting team that just knocked off Kentucky. This one was another close fought game, but for the whole game, and ended up needing an extra period of overtime to decide who the winner was. I thought about what I said about Burns. I thought big boy Burns needed to pick it up, and I don't know if he got that call from me or something, because he didn't respond. I called him, he didn't respond. But basically, he must have got the call, because he pretty much got into the game, started off strong, and kind of felt like he was right at home. He dominated the game, giving us 24 points. 11 rebounds, and even notched up 4 assists. I think an overall great game, showing his dominance, kind of showing us what he was lacking in that first game. As well as the first game, the team just overall, obviously it was a close game, like I said, but I do think the team as a whole played really well. They really got Burns going, and they were able to kind of feed off of that. Pretty much after he was getting what he needed, the rest of the team kind of was doing what they needed as well. DR had 11 and 13, rebounding like he always do. Horn came off the bench with 11 and 6, like I said, and there was 2 other starters, Michael O'Connor and Casey Morso, giving us 11 points each as well. So well-rounded effort. They were able to kind of find a way to fight through. And obviously, even when it's a close game, if you still have all your starters in double digits, that usually points to you having a good offensive game. And for the most part, you should be able to have a good game to win it if you're playing good defensively as well. So I definitely liked what I got from the team as a whole, but obviously not everything was perfect. It was a close game. They had to get to overtime to win, so there's a few things that they definitely struggle with. Their size, their strength. This specific game against Oakland did not match up well against Oakland's speed. They were pretty much giving them issues in transition, going downhill. Trey Townsend from Oakland went off for 30, and they even had another bench player get 22. So it just seemed like they weren't able to key in on the players that were getting hot. Pretty much stopping those guards. Both of them were guards. Like I said, they were going attacking, getting some penetration, using the mid-range, kind of getting what they needed to get at the bucket and just beyond bucket. So definitely think that they have to improve a lot of things, especially considering who they're playing, which is number 2 ranked Marquette in this next round in the Sweet 16. 1 second. You know how it is, water break. Cold water, so good. So yeah, NC State got the privilege of playing Marquette in this next game. So Marquette, believe it or not, so they faced off against Western Kentucky the first game. Believe it or not, they were actually down 7. End of the first half, Marquette was not playing like they should. A 2 seed versus a 15 seed. Obviously, they have a good defense. That's one of their calling cards. But defensively, they couldn't stop shots. They couldn't stop attacking to the basket. That opened up a little bit more shots on the outside. And that kind of allowed them to let the first half slip away from them just a little bit. Second half, lockdown. It was actually ridiculous. They came in second half, outscored the Hilltoppers 51-26. Pretty much destroyed them in the second half. Cameron Jones, Cameron Jones was undeniable. He was on fire from deep, found other ways to still keep himself going, creating his own shot. He pretty much was doing whatever he wanted, earned himself 28 points. Other players in the starting lineup definitely did their thing. They decided that the first half was just enough. Whatever speech was given in the halftime caused them to come out in the second half and pretty much take over the rest of the game. Tyler Kolek, 18 points, 11 assists. David Joplin, 13 points, 11 boards. Both getting a double-double coming through in the second half. And like I said, they took away the game. Also had a block party. It wasn't just offense. They made sure defensively they stepped up. Also, Iguodaro ended the game with 5 blocks. Joplin had 2. Stevie Mitchell had 3. So they pretty much locked in, and really stepped it up that second half, which is a good indicator of like, all right, like, you know, a lot of people are questioning like, all right, here we go, another upset. But it's definitely good to see them lock in that second half and pretty much respond the way that they're responding, and show us that they can kind of face a little bit of adversity and not fold, you know. Second game was against Colorado. This game gave us the same story, kind of on different halves. I guess you would say two sides of the same coin. Marquette won the game by 4, 81-77. But they actually had an 11-point lead going into the second half and just barely got outscored a little bit in the second half to pretty much only win by 4. It was a game that they almost gave away. 1 second. Yes. It was literally a 1-point game up until a minute left. Marquette had the lead, but Colorado made it that close. Kolek really came through late in this one. He had 21 points, 11 assists, really controlled the pace, kept the team calm. He executed well, especially late in that second half, and just a couple plays down the stretch really did what he was supposed to do. They went short on the rotation that game, 7-man rotation. Kolek played 40 minutes. And honestly, I think both on offense and defense, he kind of showed out and gave that team the poise and showed that that team has the championship caliber, if you would say, to kind of, once again, face adversity, not fold. So that was definitely a good showing, and something that after the first game, I was like, all right, like it's definitely good to see. So now let's get into it. NC State versus Marquette. This one should be a good game. I feel like kind of speed versus strength. Obviously, Marquette kind of defensively, they're and I mean speed on defense versus strength on offense. That's actually what I mean, that specific matchup. Marquette will be quick on the point, try to attack the ball, cause deflections, cause the function, pretty much make sure that they're in your face, rotating and kind of throwing you off your game. NC, name of the game for them is slow. Not really slow, but strong and steady. Strong and steady is definitely a better definition. They kind of use their efficient offense. They don't really turn the ball over, make many mistakes. They protect the ball well, and they limit the turnovers that Marquette pretty much loves to get. So this is going to be a good game. The only game left with the double seat left in the tournament, 11, NC State. So that's something that people are going to be looking for, an upset. So I definitely know that that NC State's going to make it hard, and I think the Golden Eagles know that it's going to be a tough task as well. I would say the last game against the Buffaloes, Colorado, Marquette had a 6'11", 250-plus monster. They kind of had to key down on him, kind of stop the game. That was really the only threat. So I imagine they're going to try to do the same thing for Burns in this matchup. I do think that Marquette can throw a lot of coverage needed for them to achieve this with Burns. They do got a lot of pieces they could throw. The question is, how deep are they going to go with that rotation, and if that rotation is going to get in foul trouble. They have been a team that has shown a lot of adversity in this tournament so far. Versatile, have shown that they could have shown that they can win in many ways. 1 second. Versatile. Have shown that they can win in many ways. I think they're shorter starters, 6'3", so they're long as well, pretty much. And I do believe that they have the pieces that they need to pretty much continue in this tournament, and they've shown us by giving us what they've given us so far. So I'm excited to see Ogudaro versus Burns. That matchup will be good. Ogudaro, great defensive capabilities, have shown that already on the defensive end in this tournament. Obviously, with help from Joplin, I do think they can keep that front court with Burns in lock and control the paint on offense and defense as well. So I think Marquette is too much and they win the game. So I got Marquette advancing to the Elite Eight. No upset here. No upset here. All right. Let's get into it. Number 5 Gonzaga versus number 1 Purdue. Hell of a game this is about to be. Gonzaga played McNeese first game in. Don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. This was a pretty good and easy game for them. Out of the 8 players who played meaningful minutes, because they had a few play garbage time minutes, all of them scored at least 7, and that includes people coming off the bench. This was a great team effort, and definitely a big game for their big men. Basically, Gonzaga got technically their wing and big men, because they all range are 6'8", 6'9", I think 6'10", the 3 bigs. Their bigs pretty much went crazy. Aiton Watson gave us a 13 and 13 rebound double-double. Graham Ike put up a 16, 10 rebound double-double. And Ben Gregg came through with 12 points, 5 rebounds on his own, pretty much allowing 4 of the starters and 1 bench player scoring double digits and pretty much have an easy game. Dominant play from those big / wingmen, like I mentioned, pretty much getting everything they wanted, rebounding crazy, working on the boards, working on the block, doing what they need to do. Won the first half by 20, pretty much ended up winning the game by 20-21, I think. So it was pretty much a easy game for them on a dominant performance coming right in. Next game, they faced off against Kansas. Obviously, a lot better of a team. But Gonzaga showed that they have that, I don't want to say championship caliber, tournament caliber. That's a good description. Tournament caliber. They know what to do. They act like they've been here before. Once again, big / wings. It seemed like they couldn't be stopped, man. Greg and Ike both had 13 and 9, 13 points, 9 rebounds. And Watson had himself a decent stat line as well. More than decent, actually. 21 points, 6 rebounds. A few more points, a few less rebounds, but all 3 of them pretty much did that thing, doing exactly what they needed to do. But I would say the success of Gonzaga in this game kind of came from the guards. Nolan notched a 17-point game. And Ryan Nembhard pretty much had 5 points, but he got the team 12 assists, and I imagine all those was well needed. Pretty much a lot of players on the team found their mark. First half ended in a 1-point Kansas lead. So like I said, it wasn't a easy-peasy game. They had to work for it. But second half, Bulldogs decided to lock down, and from there, they pretty much kind of took over. Defensively, they really stepped up, made the half court seem very small. Whether it was a layup, attempted dunk, not many mid-range floaters, it really seemed like nothing was falling from them. Now you're chucking threes, and at this point, you're still down. Your rhythm is off, and at this point, there's no more time left. You don't know what to do. Nothing's working. Kansas lose, and Gonzaga ends up winning the game by 21. So definitely a good showing for the first 2 games. Like I said, wingmen, big men going ham. Definitely want to see what they have to offer coming up in this next round. That's crazy. My cat is trying to get in here so hard. Like it almost seems like he's trying to push the door. He's so mad. Scratching. All right. They're facing off against number 1 Purdue. Purdue, they're number 1 seed for a reason, man. They're definitely one of the favorites to go all the way. And if you don't know anything about Purdue, you should definitely know who the head of the snake is for that team, and that's their center, Zach Edey. He's already been a household name tournament-wise and came in this year giving us nothing less than what we expected, knowing what we know from him and knowing what he's already given us. First game, 30 points, 21 freaking rebounds, doing work off the glass, even notching 4 blocks. He was pretty much a dominant force. They had no answer for him. Pretty much the Boilermakers kind of went off of that. Brandon Smith added in 11 points, 10 assists. Pretty much Trey Kaufman, Ren, got in more points as well. I think it was 11 points as well. And pretty much the Grambling State Tigers didn't know what to do. When you add in Edey's 30, Smith's 11, Kaufman and Ren's 11, that's over 50 points. The Tigers scored 50 points as a team, as a whole, all game. Obviously, 1 versus 16. That's as easy as it should get in a tournament. So they definitely kind of showed exactly why they are the number 1 seed. Boilermakers win by 28 points. Great game from Edey. Whole team kind of did what they were supposed to do, but it was just a whooping and just kind of no show for the Tigers. So the next game, they face stiffer competition in Utah State. Outcome was still the same and actually kind of worse. After putting up 49 in the first half, apparently they didn't get the memo that they were already giving them a whooping and decided to put up 57 in the second half. Won the game by 39 points. It was absolutely ridiculous. Edey, once again, a problem. 23 points, 14 boards, and obviously on the defensive end, he knows what he's doing. 2 steals, 3 blocks. A great game from him. Kaufman Ren had himself a game 2. He was very successful penetrating, got his work down low. Pretty much the team was feeding. The team was eating. Kind of going off of Edey when you got a center like that who could face down low, kind of have that size. You're going to know what to do. But they also shared the ball well with each other. 29 assists as a team. The Aggies had 9 as a whole. That kind of shows you the difference in the games that these teams was having. One team was having the ball move. The other team couldn't get nothing. Not necessarily to fall, because obviously, the assists aren't shots. But they couldn't get the team to allow themselves to get in rhythm, get the ball movement, get something going, man. They made them question their shots, question their passes, and pretty much rotated like a high caliber team. So that was definitely nothing. I don't want to say nothing to see, but what I mean by that is like no adversity. Like they gave us exactly what they were supposed to give us. Second round was worse than the first round for their opponent. At this point, they're the Boilermakers. Like we know what we got in Purdue. Now, let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Gonzaga versus Purdue. Such a great matchup. One of the best matchups for me, one of my favorite matchups in this round. I definitely think we get 2 powerhouses, 2 tournament caliber team. Yeah. Have potential to be championship caliber team. Obviously, it's the tournament experience that they bring. Question for Purdue is, can they slow down Gonzaga in their offense? When Gonzaga gets scoring, when those forwards get scoring, like I mentioned in the first 2 games, Greg, Watson, Ike, when they get ahead of steam, when they start going downhill with success, they're able to penetrate. They're able to pretty much do whatever they want at will. Honestly, this team is one of the hardest teams to beat. If they can get going in transition, catch you slipping, that's going to be their best shot at kind of making the Boilermakers stumble. The question for those 3 men, all 3 of those big / wingmen, is how well are they going to stop Edey? How are they going to defend pretty much the biggest weapon that Purdue has? He's literally averaging 26 points, 17 rebounds, and 3 blocks so far in this tournament. Like I said, unstoppable, unmovable force. He's kind of old-fashioned, so he's going to get his work down low. He's going to get his work on the block. And if they're unable to stop him one-on-one, they're going to have to send doubles. And the reason why I bring that up and why that can be a problem, Purdue is the best three-point percentage team in the nation. So if they start sending doubles at Edey starts becoming unstoppable down low, then they are damn near an unstoppable team. So which one is going to overtake the other? Kind of like a team with a three-headed dragon, obviously those forwards and bigs, against a team with one-headed dragon, but the one-headed dragon is a lot bigger. So I think with Edey, his ability down low, Purdue's ability to shoot off of him, obviously they hit a great percentage from three. I think it's going to be a tough task for Gonzaga to have. Gonzaga has also shown that if you play them well, keep it a lower scoring game, make it a slow-paced game, you have the ability to beat them, and they have the tendency to lose. They do better running good pace, getting transition points with those three forwards, 6'9", 6'10", 6'11". They're very athletic. Obviously, with Edey slowing down the game, players like Kaufman and Rennie coming through, getting good shots, good shooters around them as a whole. I do think that their defense also will be a problem because they're not no scrubs. So I do believe that they will outlast the Bulldogs, the Boilermakers, and I got Purdue winning. Purdue wins and move on to the Elite Eight. Another good game coming up right now too. Fantastic. Number 4, Duke versus number 1, Houston. Duke first. First game in, they necessarily didn't really shoot Vermont out the gym like most people expected them to, even though they still won by 17 points. I don't want to say struggled, but it wasn't as dominant as the first half as you would have expected, but they definitely found a way to really clamp down that second half and give themselves some cushion. While Duke has a main guy, this one was more of a team effort. So Jared McCain, of course, had himself a game. That's their main guy. 15 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. Tyrese Proctor had 13 points. Jeremy Roach, 14. Mark Mitchell, 15. Kyle Flipowski was the only one out of the starters without double-digit scoring, but he's their big man, and he did bring in 12 boards, so he did exactly what he was supposed to do in that game. Their focus this game was more kind of guard penetration, dishing, picking and rolling action, a lot of attacking the rim. This pretty much helped them take that lead in the second half, really get to the free throw line, and they actually ended up the game with 29 free throw attempts, hitting 20 of them. So the real physical game for them offensively, attacking the rim, penetrating, really forcing Vermont to kind of make some decisions. The next game against James Madison, they showed us more of what we expected. Duke kind of gave us a Duke they were supposed to be. 23-point lead to end the first half, 38-point win to finish. This one was a dominant game for Duke and a dominant game for their main guy. Like I said, they have a main guy even though they have a great team around them. But you already know who their main guy is, and that's definitely Jared McCain. McCain scored 30 this game against James Madison. Shot the ball well, extremely well. I think he was finding his shot all night, pretty much was in the zone, and once he started going, no one could stop him. Now, don't get it twisted. It wasn't just him. The rest of the team definitely helped contributed. 3 more of the starters scored over 13, and as a team, pretty much they were disgusting from perimeter, disgusting from 3, hitting 50% from deep, 14 for 28. pretty much making sure that this was McCain's coming out game, letting us know this is a taste of what he can do, this is what he can give us, and this is what we should expect heading into the next round. For Houston, excuse me. For Houston, number 1 seed gave us exactly what we should expect in that first game. 40-point win over the Long Beach Lancers. Dismantled them from start to finish, mostly on the defensive end, if I might add. Only one player from the Lancers scored 10, while everyone else could even come close to touching double digits. 84-46 win for Houston. Pretty much did their thing, gave us what we needed as a number 1 seed in the first game. Jamal Shee led the way this game in the first game of the tournament for Houston. I wouldn't necessarily say in points because he didn't lead in points, but 11 points and 9 assists. Staying involved in the game, being aware of what he had to do, making sure he got everyone involved, keeping pace, kind of making sure he needed what he needed to do as a guard. Obviously, his running mates did the same exact thing. They do like to run kind of 3 guards, a little bit quick pace, low guard heavy. So his running partners, Emmanuel Sharp, had 13, while LJ Cryer had 17. So pretty much good guard play coming from the 3 starters. Damian Dunn's another guard coming off the bench, scored 17. Pretty much seemed like the Cougars guards, all of them were damn near unstoppable all night. Offense, they did well. Defense, they forced the pressure. They shot the ball well when they needed to. Definitely a great outing for the Cougars and a great first game. Exactly what we should expect from number 1 seed. Second game, they definitely had to fight a war. It was against Texas A&M, and it almost looked like a damn near NBA game. Score being 100-95 and an overtime win for the Cougars. This is a back-and-forth game all game. Just like the first game, like I said, the guards were playing well all night. Obviously, that's kind of their identity. But the issue is they couldn't stop the guards and the other team whatsoever, not once. So, basically, Sheet, as I said, he's going to lead the way. This time he did. What points? 21 points, 10 assists, double-double. Sharp. Pretty much, no, she didn't lead with points. That's what I meant. Not with points, but with assists, again, as well with the 21-10 double-double. It was Sharp who led the game with 30, and Cryer himself came again, dropped 20. Both teams played physical. This was, like I said, this was a back-and-forth game. Physical attacking from the guards on both ends, offensive and defensive, as well as both ends, meaning both teams. They were forcing the action, forcing free throws, pretty much able to slow down the Aggies in clutch. Big men step up, got more rebounding, stepped up a little scoring. And like I said, in that overtime, they pretty much notched in those 5 extra points that they needed to get that 5-point win. Houston versus Duke. This is about to be a game. Powerhouse versus powerhouse. I can't wait for it. Houston will probably lean in a guard play, try to attack the rim, force some good shots, really get in there, use their quickness and athleticism. And Duke, they're going to rely on multiple talent, man. They have variety. They have firepower at every position. Their offense that has top-tier flashes, make you pay almost anywhere in the court. And they're going to face off against a defense that has the ability to make any hot team pretty much come to a complete halt. Question is, which one will prevail? I will say the Cougars do a good job at forcing you out to rhythm. Like I said, good defense. They force you out your game plan. They're veterans. They're well coached, deep experience, and they make anyone's life hard. From what I've seen, not only, and I guess the first game it makes sense, but even before the first game, from what I've seen from the Blue Devils, and not necessarily them, but just us, media, fans, just people who enjoy the game, is they've been really underestimated. And it's hard to say Duke underestimated. What are you talking about? Yes, this tournament so far, people have already expected them to have issues, and a lot of people are expecting them to have major issues going up against the Cougars. Cougars defense is top tier, so Duke is definitely know that what they're getting at, and that's why people think that they're gonna have a rough time winning. But I will say Duke also has a pretty good defense. Stat wise, it doesn't jump out the gym, but they will also try to make your life hard. Have some good defensive schemes. I think the difference will be the scoring. Houston's gonna make life hard defensively. Duke is gonna make life hard offensively. I think it's a very, 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 very close game. But I do think that Duke just slightly edges. Maybe a 2 to 4 point win, 5 at most. That's how I'm thinking it's going to go. Duke is one of the only teams, I want to say actually the only team left that has all 5 starters averaging double digits throughout the season, that is. And that just goes to show that they have variety. They have firepower at all the positions. If you make life difficult like the Cougars will do, they have other options to go to. They're also well coached. It's the experience and veteranship, if that's a word, that people are pretty much questioning. I'm not going to question it, man. Them boys are hooping. I'm going to let them hoop. I think that they just, like I said, close game. I could be wrong, but I do think that Duke slightly edges over Houston. So I got Duke advancing to the Elite Eight. I know that one's going to not go well. Last game of the night and last game of the Sweet 16. Oh, and all these games are on Friday. Number 3, Creighton versus number 2, Tennessee. Creighton has been a team that has also been underestimated, but they came in with a purpose to prove everyone wrong, and they've been doing that. In the first game against Akron, they found the rhythm early and pretty much kept it. They found a good pace. Creighton played a good, comfortable game. All 5 starters scored 10 points or more. Ryan Kalkbrenner led the way with 23 points. Baylor Sherman having 15 points, 13 rebounds. Good double-double showing for him. Overall, the team pretty much had a good game. My only concern is when I say team, apparently I just mean the starters. They played majority of the minutes, most of the minutes, and literally logged every single point that they scored that game. No one on the bench scored anything. They barely had any minutes to play, barely had any rhythm. That's not something I feel like you can do going into any further rounds in this tournament, and that's definitely something that I was kind of looking at like, I wonder what they're going to show us going into the next round. One second. Next game, same story, good and bad. Starters all came in, great consistency. They played great. Trey Alexander had 20 points. Kalkbrenner scored 19 points, 14 rebounds. Once again, doing work done there, getting a double-double, doing what he needed to do on the block. The guards were assisting. The guards were shooting. 4 of the 5 starters scored at least 18. Everyone was doing their part. The ball was going around. They did what they needed to do. Once again, team did great. When I say team, apparently I mean starters. 3 people off the bench logged minutes, and they combined of 7 of the team's 86 points. That is something that I am worried about. I'm going into the next round, and especially going against a team like Tennessee. Let's talk Tennessee and their performance so far in this tournament. Another dominant team, good powerhouse. First game for Tennessee, they went up against St. Peter's, stifling just penetrating defense, man. They scored at ease on offense, played great on defense, won by over 30, shot 50% overall, 45.8% from three, man. Guards like Zakai Ziegler, Dalton Connect led the way. Ziegler scored 11 and 10, 11 points, 11 points, 10 assists, double-double. Connect had 23 points, 8 assists. They were keeping pace, running the plays, doing what they needed to do, making sure they made the right passes, make sure they made the right reads. Unlike Creighton, this team was actually able to get 28 points out of their bench, making sure they moved the ball well all around and pretty much gave themselves opportunity to get great shots. Defensively, they were a problem. Like I said, pretty much won this game by ease. They were able to kind of lean on Jonas Adu. Gave us 15 points, 6 rebounds, 3 blocks. Dominant play from him as well. Dominant win for the team. Easy win for the team. Clicked on all cylinders. Second game, Texas. They went up against Texas, and that was a battle. Low scoring, tough fought game. Lot more of a nail biter. Team kind of allowing a comeback in the second half. Ended up only winning by 4. Connect once again did his thing. Led the way, 18 points. Idu chipped in 11 of his own with another 2 blocks, doing what he needed to do down low. Another good team game, like I mentioned. Besides Ziegler and his 7 assists, I will say the team did struggle to kind of get that open shot, find an open man like they did that first game. And that was actually part of the reason why they almost gave up the lead and almost lost. Bench still came through, scored some points, but I think that was more or less of a team game, more of a selfish game. But I don't even think it's necessarily them being selfish. I think they were struggling to really find what they could do or what they needed to do to continue to put points up on the board. But either way, they held on the fort, locked in towards the end, did just enough what they needed to do to walk away with the win. All right, last prediction of the night, Creighton versus Tennessee. Let's get into it. This one should definitely be a grind. Both have the ability to create half-court pressure. Both have the ability to pretty much slow down the game. Creighton is going to have a tough task trying to stop down Connect, SEC Player of the Year. He's going to give you 20+. Definitely a tough task in stopping that man. He can shoot. He can penetrate. He can pass when needed. He makes good reads. Pretty much, he's going to do whatever he needs to do. And they have a good rim protector in Kalkbrenner to try to help. But I will say, as a team, they struggle to guard the outside. And if you allow Connect to get that shot going, he's definitely going to take advantage of it. A team can also use their zone, take advantage of their zone, and find space in the mid-range, kind of get open shots that way. And that's something that not just Connect, but other players on that team can definitely do. So definitely don't want to give Tennessee those options. On the other end, you know how it is. Well, you probably don't, but like I said, Adu is shown that he can be good defensively, but his weakness, I guess you can say, is the bigger man. Basically, when he's been forced to guard up against true bigs, take for instance Edey, Purdue, Baycott, UNC. I'm thinking of past matchups where better than good big men have went up against him, and Kalkbrenner really wasn't. He kind of got beaten a little bit. So I definitely think that they have to look for Kalkbrenner to try to feast down low, force the issue, kind of let Creighton know that he's a dominant big man. He's the one that's down there. He's there. So from what I've seen from both these teams have been forced to survive at some point this season and have shown that they can. Creighton will try to use their roster to score on all levels. with post play from Cockbrenner, good perimeter shots from Alexander. Pretty much try to find success on all three levels. Tennessee will try to fall in line behind Connect. SEC Player of the Year, you let that boy do what he do, and when you allow him to do what he do, that allows people like Adu, I like that, to work inside, get what he's supposed to get, and the rest of the team will fall in line behind that. This isn't a surprise. I do think Creighton, actually, no, it might be because, I don't know. I personally think Creighton's ranking don't speak for them as a team. That lack of talent, lack of bench, lack of ability to create has worried me all tournament. And in conference play as well. So, well, not conference play, late season, when I really started to key in on teams I know we're going to make it to the tournament. Tennessee has some bona fide scorers, man. Like to use the word smooth criminals, man. And they got a smooth criminal over there in Connect. So, I definitely do think that they're going to prove to be too much for Creighton. And I got Tennessee winning. I have Tennessee advancing to the Elite Eight. Well. That's what I got for you guys today, man. Thank you so much for tuning in. Next, we'll be covering the Elite Eight. Once these Sweet 16 matchups get out there, then we pretty much have the option, or not just option, but the chance to go ahead and cover the 4 games that we'll be able to watch in that round, and pretty much see who we got going into the final rounds, getting that championship, final 2 rounds. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys stick around for a bit. Like I said, this is my second episode. We are going to be talking a lot of sports. Rest of the NCAA tournament, NBA playoffs right after. Get into that. UFC 300 coming up soon in a few weeks. That's kind of the things I'm going to be here for. NBA, NFL, UFC, boxing, WNBA as well, NCAA, football, basketball, college basketball, women's and men's, pretty much, and special this year. We got the Summer Olympics, so I definitely will be covering some of those. We added a couple new sports to the Olympics, so I'm definitely excited to see what this year's going to bring us, especially basketball. I will be bringing some guests on here and there. Spicy debates. Stay tuned for those episodes as well. Like I said, appreciate the support. If you're checking me out, YouTube is Melo_Madness. Twitch is Melo Madness Podcast, all together, no spaces. TikTok, while still around, is Melo_Madness as well. Kick is Melo Madness Podcast, all together, no spaces. So YouTube and TikTok is Melo_Madness. Twitch and Kick are Melo Madness Podcast, all together, no spaces. Please subscribe, please follow, and thank you for tuning in.